I was sipping coffee on my porch, the Texas sun just starting to warm the cedar boards under my boots, when I heard a low buzz, like a chainsaw chewing through metal and boots crunching up my driveway. At first, I figured it was road work down the street, but then I saw her, Linda Hayes, president of the Cedar Hills HOA, strutting up like she was leading a raid, mirrored shades flashing. Clipboard in hand, flanked by 2 board members and a guy in a neon vest gripping bolt cutters big enough to snip a tank. They weren't here to chat. They were gunning for my ammo locker. A steel box bolted to my slab, registered with the Department of Defense, wired to ping the feds if anyone so much as sneezed on it. I stood, coffee mug still warm in my hand, as Linda waved her clipboard like a badge of honor. "Mr. Cole Ramsey," she barked, voice sharp enough to spook my goats, "this metal eyesore violates HOA Code 412C. Unauthorized structures visible from the street. You got notice. We're taking it." I almost choked on my coffee. This wasn't just any locker. It held classified files from my days as a defense contractor, protected under federal law, with a system that'd alert a military base faster than you can say bad idea. I tried reasoning. "Linda, that's a DoD asset. Touch it, and you'll have bigger problems than your rulebook." She smirked, like I'd just claimed to be a secret agent. "Sure, Cole. Step aside." That's when Neon Vest leaned in with the cutters, and a red light blinked on the locker. Somewhere in D.C., a signal pulsed, and I knew the clock was ticking. Let me back up. I'm Cole Ramsey, 58. Retired from a decade working logistics for military R&D, ballistic storage, secure data, the kind of stuff you don't talk about at barbecues. I bought this 5-acre lot in Blanco County to get away from the noise, raise goats, maybe teach my nephew to fish in the creek out back. When I moved to Cedar Hills, I made damn sure my land was free of HOA nonsense, checked every deed, every county record. My neighbors, Tom, a retired mechanic with a soft spot for stray cats, and Grace, a widow who bakes pies that could end wars, were the same, live and let live. But 4 months ago, Linda and her HOA started acting like they owned the whole county, slapping fines on folks for unapproved mailboxes or non-compliant shrubs. Tom got hit, Grace too, but they brushed it off. Then Grace called me, spooked. "Cole, Linda's goon came by. Said my shed's illegal." Felt like a shakedown. I checked her doorbell cam. Some guy with a fake badge, acting official. I told my deputies to keep an eye out and rigged my place with extra cameras. Motion sensors, the works. If Linda was coming for me, I'd be ready. And she did, that Wednesday morning, thinking she could waltz in and seize a federal asset. I watched Neon Vest clamp the cutters, the alert light flashing like a warning flare. Linda, oblivious, turned to her board. "See? Just a box. Probably full of old tools." Her buddy chuckled. I didn't move, just sipped my coffee, waiting. 15 minutes later, the cavalry rolled in 2 black SUVs, no plates, screeching to a stop like something out of a spy flick. 4 guys in tactical gear piled out, earpieces crackling, one barking. "Secure the perimeter." Drone up. Linda's clipboard hit the dirt. She stammered, "I'm the HOA president. We're just but a lieutenant cutter off." "Ma'am, step back. That's a protected asset. You just tripped a federal breach." Her face went white as he pulled a tablet, showing logs of her snapping photos that synced to the HOA's cloud, pinging a DoD server. My cameras caught it all, looping to a secure drive. They didn't cuff her, but they herded her in Neon Vest to the sidewalk, ran their IDs, and turned to me. "Smart move, staying calm." The lieutenant said. "What now?" I asked. He glanced at Linda. "We find out who gave her the green light. If she's got no clearance, this goes way up the chain." By noon, they were gone, leaving Linda staring at my locker like it had just tanked her whole career. I figured she'd back off, but Linda wasn't built like that. She was all ego. The kind of person who thinks a title makes her untouchable. By Friday, flyers were everywhere, tacky things with a grenade clip art, announcing an emergency HOA meeting to address the military threat in our midst. Me, I showed up, not to argue, but to keep her from spinning lies unchallenged. The community center was packed, chairs squeaking as folks turned to stare. Linda stood at a podium, all fake concern. "We're here to protect our kids, our property values, from dangerous military equipment stored right by our homes." She clicked to a blurry photo of the SUVs at my place, acting like I'd called in a strike team. A guy in the back muttered, Weren't you the one with the bolt cutters? She ignored him, but I stood, holding a DOD letter. Those SUVs came because someone, Linda, broke federal law, tampering with a secure asset. This locker's legal, protected, and none of your business. I held up the letter, and the room buzzed. Linda's treasurer, Greg, tried to save her. This isn't a base, it's Cedar Hills. I shot back, and Cedar Hills isn't above the law. Someone clapped, awkward but loud. And Linda's face twisted like she'd swallowed a wasp. You'd think she'd quit, but no. She reported me to Homeland Security, claiming I was running a rogue arms depot, complete with a video she'd edited like a true crime special. DHS sent 2 agents, suits, not soldiers, tense but professional. I showed them the locker, my contract records, the footage of Linda's stunt. They didn't care about the locker. They wanted to know how her photos hit a classified server. Her phone synced to the HOA cloud, I said. Amateur move. They nodded, jotting notes. That's a security violation. We'll need her cloud access. They left, and I knew Linda was in deeper than she realized. Sure enough, Greg posted a rant online, calling me a military snitch with dangerous connections. A neighbor started a petition to kick me out, claiming I endangered peace. It wasn't about the locker anymore, it was war. Then, at 5 a.m. Monday, I woke to a diesel engine growling. Outside, a flatbed truck and a bulldozer sat at my driveway's edge, Linda in a robe, flashlight in hand, directing her cousin, a sketchy contractor I'd seen botch a park project. They were set to rip out the locker, thinking Dawn would hide them. You lost your mind? I yelled. Linda smirked. This is HOA property now. Board voted it hazardous. The locker's motion sensor blinked, pinging the feds and local PD. Before her cousin could fire up the dozer, a patrol car rolled in, followed by base security. Stop the vehicle, an officer shouted, hand on his holster. Linda froze, her cousin killed the engine, and a military rep with a real clipboard laid it out. Tampering with this asset violates Title 50, U.S. Code. Your emails show intent. This is premeditated. Linda tried blaming her cousin, but he was already sweating, asking if federal offense meant jail. Neighbors gathered, coffee mugs in hand, filming as Linda unraveled. The truck was impounded, her cousin detained, and Linda was told to stay put for questioning. The feds moved fast. They locked down the HOA's office, seized computers, and found Linda had used board access to snoop public safety databases, illegal as hell. The board collapsed, members resigning en masse, citing her lies. Linda was ousted, unanimous vote. Handed a list of federal statutes she'd broken. She stormed out, whining, I was protecting us. But the real blow came from Walt, a quiet board member who showed up at my door, pale as a ghost. She said you had explosives, he said, handing me emails where Linda plotted to bankrupt me, mocking my locker as a war toy. It wasn't just wrong, it was cruel. I sent the files to the Judge Advocate General's office, and they didn't mess around. Linda got a federal summons, obstruction, illegal surveillance, tampering with secure infrastructure. She pleaded guilty, fined heavily, banned from any board for 15 years, monitored like a parolee. Her cousin's still answering for fake contracts. The neighborhood turned on her, parents dished her Facebook group, Greg groveled in the newsletter, and her name became a warning. The feds called me to a secure site. Said her photo uploads nearly disrupted a classified op. They offered me a consulting gig part-time, teaching folks how to spot HOA scams tied to critical assets. I said yes, not for glory, but to keep this from happening again. Cedar Hills changed. A retired teacher took over the HOA, scrapped Linda's dumb rules, focused on potlucks, not fines. My locker stayed put, now with a sign. Stand here if you know your rights. Kids love it. Neighbors laugh. Call it the karma box. One day, I found a note in my mailbox. No signature, just shaky handwriting. I was wrong. I lost everything. Linda's scrawl, same as her old welcome note when I moved in, before she let power twist her. I filed it, not out of pity, but as a reminder, unchecked ego burns hotter than any fire. I'm back to my goats, my coffee, my quiet. Grace's pies still show up, Tom's cats still wander over. The air's lighter, no drones, no clipboards. But I keep my cameras on, because Linda's gone. But her kind, folks who think rules bend to their will, always pop up somewhere. If you faced a bully like that, would you play nice or pull the pin on their grenade? Drop it in the comments. I want your take. Share this if it hit home. Freedom's only real when we guard it ourselves.